Imagine a private island in the Caribbean, a place of luxury, of exclusivity, and underneath the surface, a trap. Not just for the wealthy and powerful, but for presidents, for bankers, for global influencers. This is not fiction. This is the true story of Jeffrey Epstein's Island, and how it may have been used as a tool of control, surveillance, and international blackmail. Welcome to Time Travelers Anonymous, where we explore the stories buried under red tape, sealed files, and media silence. Let us start with the man at the center, Jeffrey Epstein. He was a financier, a convicted sex offender, and somehow a man with ties to royalty, former presidents, billionaires, and scientists. His private jet, often called the Lolita Express, and his island Little St. James, became the subject of global scandal. But what if it was more than scandal? What if the entire operation was designed to collect blackmail, compromising material on the world's elite? That idea becomes even more disturbing when we look at Epstein's closest associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine was not just a socialite. She was the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a British media tycoon and known intelligence asset. Reports link Robert Maxwell to the Israeli Defense Forces and possibly the Mossad, Israel's national intelligence agency. Robert Maxwell died under highly suspicious circumstances in 1991. He allegedly drowned after falling off his yacht. Some believe he was silenced. His daughter Ghislaine stepped into Epstein's world soon after. Together, they recruited girls, some underage, some abused, and according to victims, some were offered up to the island's high-profile guests. But behind the scenes, something else may have been happening. Multiple survivors and insiders allege that hidden cameras were installed throughout the island, in bedrooms, in hallways, in private villas. Guests were allegedly being filmed in compromising positions. And those videos? They were never found. That method, using intimacy as leverage, is not new. In fact, it is a known strategy used by intelligence agencies around the world. It is called kompromat. The Mossad, for example, has a long documented history of using honey traps. That means creating situations where targets are seduced, filmed, and then blackmailed. Could Epstein's Island have been a blackmail honeypot? And if so, who benefited? Now let us look at some of the names. Former President Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's private jet more than 20 times. He says he never visited the island, but flight logs and pilot testimony suggest otherwise. Prince Andrew of the British royal family was photographed with one of Epstein's underage victims. He has since denied wrongdoing, but settled a lawsuit out of court. Former banker Mark Carney, who served as the governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, has been linked to social circles that overlapped with Epstein's. And questions have been raised about who really influenced policy during his tenure. Even figures connected to the Prime Minister of Canada have appeared in Epstein-related records. Were these social ties? Or something more? No one has all the answers. But the pattern is clear. Epstein was connected to power across politics, across finance, across borders. And many of those connections seem to lead back to one central question. Was the island a trap? Was Epstein simply a middleman? Was Ghislaine Maxwell more than an accomplice? And was there a larger intelligence operation running in the shadows? If so, that means the United States government and other Western powers may have been compromised, not just by greed or lust, but by video, by leverage, by fear. When Epstein was arrested in 2019, many hoped for answers. He died in jail less than 2 months later. The official story? is suicide. But the cameras failed. The guards were asleep. The cell was unmonitored, and the world was left with silence. Ghislaine Maxwell was later arrested, tried, and convicted. But no client list was released, no videos were recovered, and to this day, no one else has been held accountable. So ask yourself this: if the truth were not dangerous, why was it buried? Why do so many powerful names remain untouched? And why do survivors still say they are being silenced? Epstein's Island was not just a playground for the elite. It was, possibly, a weapon. A place where trust was broken, innocence was stolen, and empires were protected through secrets. This was not about pleasure. This was about power. Thank you for watching Time Travelers Anonymous. Subscribe for more hidden stories, political betrayals, and truth buried deeper than you think. Because in this timeline, what they call a conspiracy is often just history.